everyone, Dave Thibodeau with DTMODELART here. Welcome back to the channel. It's more like I should be saying welcome myself back to the channel. I really apologize, guys, and gals, for letting you go so long without a video on this McLaren, but I had some pending projects that got in the way, and I had to get done, and they had some deadlines on them. And I needed to get them taken care of first. So the videos unfortunately had to suffer. I apologize, but we're going to keep going on this thing. Today, we are going to talk about tires and what I'm using in this kit. I got a nice set of Icon Automotive Miniatures from Derek Collins. Super nice guy, really good quality rain tires for this car. We might as well make it like the Japanese car that finished by what? 1 point, I think, over Niki Lauda at the Japanese Grand Prix that year in '76. He stayed out, that being James Hunt, and Niki retired, thinking that James wouldn't stay out there, but he did. And if you've seen the movie Rush, they have a real good depiction of what happened. It was pretty accurate. And so I wanted to make sure that this car had the correct rain tires on it, because I mean it was a downpour, just monsoon of a rain event at that race, and so the rain tires were on the cars pretty much the whole time. Well, actually not pretty much, they were. So what I've done here so far to catch you up is I've taken Derek's tires at Icon Automotive Miniatures, and you can get just so you know, again, he's a one-man show. He really appreciates your business if you give him some, but be patient with him because he's hand making these things, these resin rubber, beautifully printed tires. Now what I've done here is I have prepped the wheels and painted those with out of the airbrush with oops, sorry, my head just hit the camera, with the Acryl Modelmaster acrylic, and airbrushed that onto the wheels and then got them assembled. And then it's a meaning of just having to slip them into the tires. But before you do, you're going to need to clean up the edges a little bit, the openings, and get some of the flash away from them with a real sharp hobby knife, because these are a very rubbery tire. I know at one time his tires were very hard black resin, and I don't know if he got complaints about it. I used them even when they were really hard black resin, and they worked fine for me. But these are a lot softer, almost like a rubber tire, which is good. And what I did is I cleaned them up, sanded a few areas, and then I wiped them down with lacquer thinner just to get any kind of mold release off of them from the resin rubber mold that Derek uses. And then what I did is I popped the wheels inside the tires. They fit like a glove, perfect. They're definitely meant for this kit or any 76, 77 cars. He gives you even the proper decals here to apply to them. Now, what I've done also is taken the liberty of putting a coat of Mission Models MMA 006 gloss clear coat right out of the bottle by brush. I didn't spray it on. I just used a nice clean bristle brush, and I painted the sidewalls with it. Gave it a coat to give them a sheen. Why? So that the decals will not silver. They have something to stick to. So what we're going to do now is we're going to apply the decals that are supplied. They're an Alp style, which means you got to cut them real close to the edges because there's no guide there. They're just one solid clear piece of decal film with the Goodyears printed over them. If you've ever used Alp style decals, this is the way they are. And we're going to apply these. We're going to put them on, and we're going to get them to conform really well to the sidewalls using some Tamiya strong decal solvent. And once they're done and dry, we're going to go ahead and dull coat them. I'm not going to leave the sidewalls shiny on the older cars. I don't believe they were real shiny on the sides. So I'm going to dull coat them and give them the same sheen basically as the treads here, and give them a uniform coat. But that'll be after they dry real well. So first we're going to speed up the video a little bit and get these guys on here, and throw some music on, and you can watch what I do here. Okay, so now that the decals have dried well, it's safe to leave them overnight unless you have a dehydrator. You can take the tires after you put the decals on, throw them into a dehydrator, and you can dry them in like 15-20 minutes to the point where you can overcoat them with dull coat or whatever you want to coat them with. Notice that they have dimes over the centers of the wheels. You know, in the old Western days, they used to put dimes or, you know, coins on dead people's eyes. Trust me, my tires aren't dead. But what that does is it prevents the flat lacquer that I'm going to use directly out of the can, some Modelmaster flat lusterless lacquer, from getting on my wheels. So my wheels will keep that nice sheen, semi-gloss sheen, but the tires will be dull. And I'm just going to hit them really quick here at the bench because it won't take long. And basically just give them a coat, let the tops dry, and then flip them over and do the other side. So we're just going to give them a nice little spritz here. You don't have to go nuts. And let that dry. And once that's dry, I'll flip them over, do the other side, let that dry, and then we'll come back and we'll add a little bit more detailing to the tires that I'm going to show you. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so my tires are nice and dry after dull coating them. I hope you like the trick with the dime. Sometimes you got to use a nickel. Depends on the diameter of the tires, or the wheels, I should say. But it works out really well. It's a quick way to cover them, so you don't have to, you know, go crazy trying to mask them off with masking tape because it's just it'd be a tall order. So the final thing I want to do to the tires is add a little bit of detail to them as far as markings. Back then in those days, I don't think they had an elaborate amount of markings on the tires, you know, lot numbers and all that. I think most of them just said right front, left rear, right rear, left front, that type of deal. So we're going to emulate that using paint. I'm going to use some Mission models, just base white. And I think what I'm going to do is put the corner identification of the tire, dash, and then put an 11, you know, because that's the car. You know, these tires were all the same in these cars, so I'm sure the teams wanted to keep their tires straight. So I'm going to go right here and just put, you don't want to put too much paint on. Use a really small brush when you do this. And we're just going to, well, let me wipe this off because it's all, this is more like a one and done type thing. You've got to make sure you got it pretty much the way you want it. And you know what I'm going to do is use the cap to apply the paint. So we're going to go with a right rear on this guy. See that? And then we're going to put a dash 11. A dash. One. Just like that. Now you may want to go on here and put a mark where your valve stem's going to be. I haven't installed valve stems yet, so I'm going to leave that alone. But there's my right rear. And then I just take, this will be my left rear. And remember, once you do this and you apply the tires to the car, pay attention to your markings unless you want to redo them when you've got them on the wrong corner of the car. Trust me. Well, how do I know that? I've done it before, that's for sure. So this is going to be left rear. Let's see if I can get my squeak. Nope, can't. Paint ran out. I'm going to do my dash and then my 1 again. And another one for 11. They don't have to be perfect because they weren't on the real car. But at least they look consistent. Do you know what I mean? Very cool. Do the fronts the same way. I guess I'll do the right front first. I don't know why I'll keep dipping into there. And just carefully, and you gotta be careful, you gotta be really careful with these because they're so small. Right, front, -11. Just like that. And then left front. And I'm done. So we do a left front here. Not much sidewall to these front tires on this McLaren, but enough. So I may weather these. I don't know, everyone, what I'm going to do yet as far as the final look of the tires. You know, a lot of modelers take those Tamiya weathering kits, take a little bit of the mud or dirt, and kind of lightly dull or wipe the lettering to make them look a little bit duller, like they're used. I know some guys, and I've done this before too, that will take flat black and dry brush it and kind of dab it in certain areas on the Goodyear logo to make it look like the stencil paint has worn off in that area. That gives it a nice effect too. I think we're just going to leave them nice and clean. I just love that clean look against the McLaren body and everything. So I think we're just going to keep them nice and clean. Anyhow, a lot of you out there have been asking me about the paint booth that I'm using and the details on it. So I'm going to end this video with a little excerpt on that. I'm going to grab my camera here off the tripod that I have it on, pointing down at my bench here, and I'm going to hold it with my hand. So forgive me if I shake a little bit, you know, too much. But I want to show you the setup I have over by my spray booth. You're all asking about it and how I built it, what it is, what kind of fan am I using, and all that. I'll give you as much information as I can remember from memory. And the credit goes to Matt Meyer at Gravity Colors, because he's the one that gave me the idea of building a portable style spray booth. Mine is not portable, of course, and it's sitting on like an old piece of furniture that we used to have in our living room. And then it's vented out the window right next to my AC unit. So you'll see that in a bit, and that's what we'll end the video with. So we'll see you in a little bit. Alright everyone, I got it running for you, so I'm going to kind of try to talk above it because it's kind of loud, but there's my spray booth. And all this is, everyone, is a storage bin from Home Depot or Lowe's. Of course, I didn't use the lid. It's tilted on its side. And what I did is I mounted a fluorescent lamp up top here, as you can see. Really easy to do. And then behind this AC cuttable filter is the fan. It's running right now. It is siliconed and sealed, so it pulls all of the fumes while I spray into it back here into this fan. And that is sitting back there, and it is mounted in there. And then there's a flexible, I think it's an 8-inch hose that goes and routes all the way out to a piece of plywood that goes outside, and it vents outside. These fans and the tubing can be purchased off eBay. I think Lowe's or Home Depot might have those as well, but I don't think they have the fans. This is I forgot how many CFM it is, or whatever it's, you know, whatever kind of pulling power it has, but it is powerful. It is an encased motor as well that's sealed, so that the fumes don't get to it and cause a possible electrical, or should I say an explosion or a fire because of the fumes. The motor itself is separate. It's not within the fan, and it runs and is safe. You've got to buy a fan. Don't use stove fans and all that, everyone, because it's dangerous. You could have a spark one of those, and if you spark fumes like lacquer paints and stuff, you're going to have a problem. And that AC filter is just a cuttable filter. It's those cheap filters you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's that's running it. So all the material, I think total was about maybe 50 or 60 bucks. The fan was the most expensive piece. And I don't know the size of it. I think it is a 6-inch outlet. It might be an 8-inch. I don't remember. But that's what you need right there. Let me shut it off so you guys can see what it looks like. We'll zoom in a little bit on it here. And it's got a lot of paint in it, even though this helps. This filter doesn't help, you know, totally. But I tell you right now, I can paint out here and I won't kill myself. But I still wear a respirator when I shoot my paints because of just the, you cannot be too careful, guys and gals. Remember, the paints you're using, if you're using Gravity, you're using Zero, you're using Splash, or you're using any kind of automotive paint, the stuff is nasty stuff. You got to keep yourself protected, especially the 2-part urethane clear coats. But let me stop it so you guys can see it. But that's the fan, and it pulls really hard out the window right there. And of course, this is right here is my vent to my AC unit that's on the floor here. So, anyhow. But I hope this helps. Again, I don't remember the size of the bin and all that. You're just going to have to use your best judgment on that. But you got to buy the bin, the fan. You're going to have to buy the hose, and then find a place to route it, and you're good to go. Hope this helped you guys. Thanks for joining and watching. Please subscribe below. Hit that like button. And hit the bell so you get future notifications. I promise I won't be waiting a month next time for the next one. I apologize again for that. So take care, and I hope you like it. Thanks.